Hi, this is Robert. In this video, I wanted to give you some quick tips in preparing your car for the winter. There's really not a whole lot you need to do to get your car prepared for the winter, but the winter has its own harsh realities, just like the summer does. So, you want to do these few things to make sure that you make it through the winter without any hassle. First thing you want to do is check your battery. Try to figure out how old the battery is. If it's in excess of 3 or 4 years old, go to an auto parts store, have it tested, make sure that it's a good strong battery that'll last through the winter. The winter time, cold weather is harsh on batteries. Make sure your connections are clean, and if necessary, remove them, clean them, reinstall them, and spray them with this battery protective spray that protects them from the winter. And like I said, if it's not a new battery, have it tested at an auto parts store. It's a free service that they offer, and that'll stop you from being stranded somewhere in the cold. Number 2, check your coolant. Make sure your coolant level is correct. You can even drain a little bit of the coolant out with some kind of siphon pump. Put it into a glass or a jar. You can go to an auto parts store and get a tester to make sure that the coolant in the vehicle is healthy. Last year, a lady made a post on a website talking about she purchased a car late summer. The first hard freeze they had, the motor actually froze on the car because the people that sold her the car did not have coolant in the system. They had straight water, and when it got real cold, like 22 degrees, everything in the coolant system froze. When she started the car, it burst the motor, it broke the water pump. The starter is very strong, and it just broke everything that had to do with the coolant system, so it ruined the motor. Now, if you don't know if the car has good coolant in there, it might be safe to drain a gallon out, find the proper coolant, put a gallon of 50-50 mix back in there. At least you'll have some coolant and it won't freeze on you. Any lingering maintenance that you have that you plan to do on the car, whether it's brakes or change the oil or whatever it is, go ahead and do that before the cold weather sets in for good. I usually change my oil once in the spring, once in the fall. So I don't have to change the oil normally during the winter time unless I really rack up some miles, which I normally don't in the winter. So change your oil, do whatever basic maintenance you have that you haven't dealt with, air filters, all that kind of minor maintenance on your car. The next thing is preparing the exterior for the winter. What you want to do is clean and wax the car before it gets where the nights are below zero. Never wash a car where you expect the temperature to get below freezing in a 24-hour span. So the next warm day you have, clean the car, make sure it's dry, touch up any bare metal with some touch-up paint, and then wax the car. So clean and wax the car. You may not have the opportunity to do it no more until spring. If you don't already have one, get yourself a decent tire pressure gauge. Either one will work. Check your tire pressures. Normally, when the climate changes to a cooler climate, your tire pressure will also be affected. So, if you got nitrogen in your tires, go by there. Let the place check them that installed those tires for you. Make sure the pressure's good. And if you have air in your tires like I do, you want to check the air pressure in your tires weekly, really, no less than monthly. Now, if you have lower profile tires like I do, you really want to watch the tire pressure. But more importantly, you want to check the manufacturer on the tire and make sure that they're all-season tires. Because a lot of these low-profile tires are only for summer use. When the temperature drops down real low, they actually lose their seal to the rim and they start losing tire pressure. So, check your brand, check the tire model number. These are Venice V4 ESs, and go to the website and check to see if these are all-season tires. If they're not, you may come out in the morning and find that you have 4 flat tires. So, check your tire, check the pressure, make sure they're rated for winter use. Now, you also want to check your fluid levels. Check the fluid level in your power steering, check the fluid level in your brake, check your oil level, your coolant level, and watch for leaks. Cold weather sometimes will bring out leaks. Inspect your belts. If they haven't been changed for a long time, go ahead and have those changed, and look for weak and deformed hoses. If you look at a radiator hose and it's got a lot of bulge or something in there, you may want to get that replaced while the weather's good, because you don't want to get stuck somewhere in the middle of a long winter drive because if you're stuck in snow or something and have a hose break or start leaking on you, something like that. So check your fluid levels, check your hoses and things, make sure things are serviceable, and whatever you sense that's in bad shape, have it replaced. Last but not least, check your windshield wipers. I used to think windshield wipers last a couple years, 2 or 3, but I see nowadays they only last 6 months to a year. But you want to take your wiper, lift it up, and run your finger along the edge and make sure that that rubber is not tearing. As soon as it snows or sleets or something like that, if you have weak rubber or rubber that's coming apart, it is not going to keep your windshield clean. So, check your wipers, make sure you have good blades on them, and they should last you through the winter. Now, a couple quick bonus tips. When you get in the car and start it when it's very cold, it is not necessary to let a car warm up 5 or 10 minutes. You start your car, you let it idle till your idle stabilizes. Normally 30 seconds to 1 minute is long enough. Shift your car and drive. You drive your car nice and passively until that engine temperature gauge gets to where it normally is, halfway in a lot of cases. Then you can drive more aggressively. It's a waste of your time, gas, and even wear and tear on your car to let that car sit idle for 5 or 10 minutes. Start the car, let the idle stabilize, a minute probably at the most, shift it in gear, drive it calmly and passively, and you'll be fine. Now, if you ever come out in the morning and you find your car has a lot of ice or snow on them, don't get in your car and try to use your wipers. Come out of the car, break your wipers free, lift them up, scrape the window clear before you get in the car and try to use the wipers. For some strange reason, I've seen people actually get in the car, turn their wipers on, and try to make their wipers clear their window when they know good and well they're frozen to the windshield. So don't tear up your wiper motors and your wiper blades doing things like that. Go ahead and lift the wipers off the frozen windows first, scrape the windows clean, and then go ahead and use the car. As far as preserving your battery, you don't want to sit in the car without the car running, listening to the radio, having lights on, and things like that. Make sure you protect your battery by cutting things off and shutting the car down when it's not running. If you live in a climate that is subject to having snow or ice or something like that, try to make sure you keep at least a half a tank of gas in the car. You don't want to be stuck somewhere for 2 or 3 hours and actually cannot get off the road to get gas, and you're stuck on the road because you run out of gas. So try to keep at least a half a tank of gas if you're in a climate that is subject to icing or snow on the roads. One thing about my scan gauge, it'll actually tell you how many gallons per hour your car will use if it's idling. Right there, my car idling in park, it is using 1/3 of a gallon per hour, which means that I can sit for 3 hours with my car idling and only use 1 gallon of gas. So if you got 4 gallons of gas in your car, you should be able to sit for 6 or 7 hours. But again, you don't want to run out of gas, and the gas has weight that'll actually help you with a little traction in snow. Not much traction, not much anything can help you with ice. So again, to me, the most important things is Get your battery checked. There's a lot of cars sitting on the side of the road for bad batteries. You want to check your tire pressure, keep a decent amount of gas in there, and make sure you have good coolant in your car. They have coolant testers at auto parts stores, and they'll test your battery free at auto parts stores. So take advantage of those things. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them. I'm sure there's other tips that others might want to share as well. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.